When you hear Tzeva Adom in Israel, you only have 15 seconds to get from where you are into a bomb shelter like this. It's a scary, scary situation. Thousands of rockets have hit northern and southern Israel, and a lot of times you don't even know what's going to happen next. We're going to learn more about the installation behind us, which has been done by Artists for Israel, the Rhetoric Israel alumni community. Every artist has their canvas and they bring their creativity to the forefront. And so this is your section.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about what message you have in here and how you got connected to the project.
I'm originally a graffiti writer from New York. Met Craig and Seth, Artists for Israel, a number of years ago, working on a couple of projects here in New York. And then we started getting more involved, and then we became educated. We went off to Israel a couple of months back, and amazing trip. So through all that, we've been connected very well. And then we were invited back to participate in this other event here in New York, Washington Square Park. Basically beautifying a bomb shelter, you know, taking what is normally used for protection and a place to seek safety. We're just beautifying it, you know, for all to see.
And you know, within your canvas, you have so many messages, and you're using it more as a tool of education than anything else. Talk about like some of the images that you have in here.
I mean, the images and structure and all that, it's fairly simple. It's just, you know, a collage of different, you know, typography, letters, etc. This is a collaboration between two artists, myself and KA. And what we did was just mixed up our letters together. But at the end of the day, it's not about the graffiti. It's not about whatever. It's just covering up the negative messages that are behind it. So when you're looking at this box, you're not even looking at that. You're looking at the colors, the, you know, the energy, the layers. And, you know, as an artist, I mean, there's no deeply rooted message in here that says free this, free that. Just the fact that I'm able to paint freely, I paint for peace. And I think that's the kind of overall message.
I like that, painting for peace. But it's like, you know, graffiti artists, like it pops. All these things pop. So it's really like an incredible educational tool.
Yep.
You know, when people protest and they talk about X or Y, you're just here to showcase like it. You need to have this.
Yes.
But you also need to beautify so that it's so that
everybody can sort of relate to it. You know, you can sit here and paint a fine art drawing, but not everyone's gonna like it. Someone's gonna critique. But you do kind of colors and something that's energy and fun, everyone can relate to it. And then when you have a lineup of great artists such as, you know, KA, 2Issei, Cope, myself, and Indy, you know, kind of working on this project. Others that see this, that don't know what's going on, but recognize the names, will research and educate themselves. So it's a give and take. You know, they use artists that have, you know, a good following and a clean name behind them, and then others would see and try to emulate the same thing. So we're laying down the stones for others to follow.
And you said you were in Israel recently.
Yes.
What were some of your impressions when you were there?
Amazing. I mean, I didn't know much, you know, going in. I didn't know much about the landscape and all that. Being there, interacting with the people, kind of seeing the reality of the situation, it was just a heartfelt, you know, life-changing trip. You know, what I saw, the people I spoke to, from the ultra-religious to the super cool. I mean, it's just like, it's all across the board. But, you know, that one thing that kind of struck me is like, you're just hanging out there. But at any moment, something can kind of like trigger off and you got to run. So it was an experience, definitely a great experience, life-changing.
Yeah, no, but it really is beautiful. It really is wonderful. I know when you look at it, you don't think bomb shelter.
No, you're thinking, you know, this is another street in New York, or you're interested, you're curious, you kind of walk toward, you want to touch it and see, is it 3D, is it popping out? It's not, you know, you're not looking at this as a bomb shelter. I mean, that in itself is just like, whoa, that's what it really is when people, you know, ask about it. So
great. Well, thank you for your time. Israel is bringing arts and education to the forefront. Tell us how you created it.
The bomb shelter? We brought a bunch of artists to Israel to learn the reality of what was going on the ground there, and they were so moved by the innocent civilians who suffer through these rocket attacks. They said, how do we show the world? They said, if we can't bring everyone to Israel, we're going to bring Israel to everyone.
And there's so many different artists here, all have like their unique way of, you know, bringing art to the front. How did you pick who to, you know, for each side?
I'll tell you, it's almost impossible. The misconception is that the arts community doesn't support Israel. I'll tell you, The arts community supports Israel overwhelmingly. We're in the process of just having to choose artists. It came down today to I sent out a quick call, and I just chose the first 10 artists that responded.
And they're so unique. You have the Tagli Birthright Israel insignia in there. You have, swastikas within a Jewish star. You have all these slogans. Where does these images come from?
Well, what we started with was the idea that we're in Washington Square Park here, and so often there's anti-Israel rallies. And really, what those rallies do, they don't teach any information. They're perpetuating hate. So we took some of their logos, some of the anti-Israel rhetoric, propaganda, and hate, and we put it on the bomb shelter. Because after all, a bomb shelter is the result of hate. And then we covered it over with our own beautiful stuff. So that's where you get the Taglit logo, you have our logo, you have peace, shalom, hearts, and then this artwork itself saying, you guys keep worrying about hate, we're going to keep worrying about creation and beauty.
And where can people learn more about your organization?
I would love everybody to check out Artists for Israel, that's the number 4.org, also paintisrael.org, and if you want to learn specifically about this bomb shelter museum, there's the bombsheltermuseum.org, also online.
Great, well thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
So how did you get connected to this initiative?
Well, basically I've heard of an initiative being placed out here for Artists for Israel. And basically what they do, they beautify bomb shelters, and they pretty much fuse the art with kind of protest, kind of almost spreading a message of peace and love, and art. So I figured, hey, why not? You got the art, you got protest and positive protest, and that's what I did. So we're taking the artwork and we're fusing that together to relay a positive message of peace and not war.
And images are very important, especially when you're looking at bomb shelter. It's not like when you hear the word bomb shelter, it's not a friendly, place. So tell us how you decided to, how do you decide this art?
Yeah. So before I was saying, I tend to do graffiti, and that's what I normally do, my graffiti, my bubble letters, my style. So I just wanted to have something more inviting to the children, pretty much the children. So I just use a regular character just to have it more enticing for the kids, more playful and nothing too crazy that they can't understand, So I keep it like that, keep it universal, because anybody can understand that,
And how do you describe a bomb shelter to somebody who doesn't know about? Because you said you've been to Israel before.
Yeah, we went to Israel, went to Sderot. We checked out the bomb shelters out there, and they're not nice from the inside and the outside. And you have to almost put yourself in that position to understand when you run in a bomb shelter, you might be there for any number of time. You might be there for an hour, you might be there for a day. And it's horrible in there. You have whatever feces in there, and they're not taken care of. So, this is a step up, from what they have originally. So.
So what motivated, this type of initiative?
It came really from the people that went on Birthright Israel. They went to Israel and they saw firsthand for themselves that Israel is not an apartheid state, that Zionism is not racism, and they felt empathy for the Israelis that are having to live with sirens and having to run into a bomb shelter, and they felt like this was not being publicized in the news, in the headlines. They weren't covering this aspect, and they felt that it was not justified. And they're here to kind of make a statement about that.
Right. And it's amazing to see how art can influence the way people think, and especially with graffiti, it pops out.
Right. This is about this is not about politics. It's about art. It's about making a statement through graffiti art. And that emphasizes it. And it's about getting people's attention.
And what would be the main takeaway from this installation?
That a person should empathize and not feel hate towards Israelis that's not biased and that's not true and that's not real. So we're here to, kind of de-emphasize the hate that's being drawn towards Israel by giving them an experience that they felt was genuine,
No, bombs fly very regularly, and currently over hundreds have been coming. Now, when you hear in southern Israel the Tzeva Adom, which is the red alert call, the siren, you have a total of 15 seconds to get to the nearest bomb shelter. So what we're going to do right now is simulate that. We're going to have a bomb drill right now. Everybody, over there, follow me, come on. We're going over here. We're eating our peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Yum, 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 yum. Trading our juice boxes, doing what children do on any given day. We're standing here on the winning, and then all of a sudden you hear Tzeva Adom, Tzeva Adom. We have 15 seconds to get over there. So, if everyone could line up right here, that'd be great. Come to this side. Fantastic. This side, this side, this side. Great. I'm going to yell when you guys aren't paying attention. I'm going to yell Tzeva Adom, and then we're going to have 15 seconds to run and have everybody get into the bomb shelter. Ready, on your mark, get set, Tzeva Adom! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
When you hear Tzeva Adom, it's a very powerful word, Adom.
Yeah.
You know, it's that. What do you do? You know,
Blood.
and you're trying to teach everyone what to do. Tell us a little bit about you know, how you got involved and how do you do it?
Yeah, well, I'm a student here at NYU. I'm the youngest resident artist for Artists for Israel. And last Thursday, actually, I was contacted, and they told me that we were going to do this this bomb shelter installation, and they asked if I had any. I'm a performance artist, have any sort of performance aspect we could talk about. And what we really distilled down to it is we wanted to give people an experience of what it's like to be a child in South Israel. We teach them the Tzeva Adom song, the song that every child learns. We're going to let them go inside. It's not about mudslinging. It's not about any sort of thing like that. It's not about this is just the experience that we're trying to give you. Yeah.
No, and it's complicated because, like, I mean, luckily I've never been in a terrorist attack.
Right.
And so how do you bring about, I guess you do performance art, how do you bring that to the forefront?
Well, the way we bring it to the forefront is that feeling of constant possibility that it could be happening. You give people the tools of preparedness that everyone is given, and then they realize that these are the things that are given to 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds and 7-year-olds. Age is too young to have to know what to deal with in a bomb shelter or in a bomb situation. So that's really how we bring it to the forefront.
Right. You know, and looking behind us, just seeing how the artists really are making the bomb shelter come alive.
Yeah.
And showing the different types of slogans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes it so much more powerful.
Most definitely. It reminds me of something. Artists for Israel did a trip to Israel last summer, I believe it was, and they took with them the graffiti artists. And one of them, I believe it was Cycle, said, "I painted over this bomb shelter because I thought it was ugly and I wanted to make it beautiful." And really, that's what it is. This is a terrible, sad, ugly thing that's happening. What can we do to put a lighter note on a lighter side to this terrible aspect? Yeah.
And looking around, like, especially today, we have so many different people from different backgrounds, like looking. It's not just like an art; it's an educational tool.
Right, it's an educational tool. It's a moment where a bunch of people are getting together and going through something, and hopefully they will grow and hopefully learn from it. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
As you can see, the installment brings about educational tools necessary to learn about what Israelis go through on a regular basis. This is Arwen Herman. Thank you for watching.